we can't use marginalization as an excuse for poor leadership.
Okay.
Because where leadership has been poor, it has to just to be named in that fashion in itself.
Yeah.
But that should not also excuse the reality that there has also been marginalization. Because you look at the companies that Joachim was mentioning, those are Western companies. And those Western companies did not belong to Western people. They belonged to the country. Just because they were located in Western does not mean that when someone was the MP in that area, he became the leader of the company. Just because we have KEMSA somewhere in Dagoretti North constituency, it doesn't mean that Beatrice Elachi goes every day there in the morning to micromanage what the CEO is doing, because that reasoning is quite pedestrian. Because he reasons as though the leaders were then the CEOs of the companies. The companies, it's true that there has been a lot of issues. I went to school in the days when Pan Paper was working very well in Webuye. And at that time, Webuye was extremely cosmopolitan. I went to school with children who came from all over. We went to school with Gidinji. We went to school with including Indians, because the company was actually doing very well. It was not doing very well because it belonged to the people of Webuye. It was a national entity, and the national infrastructure was put there to ensure that it functions. But it's true that these companies started their collapse around at a certain period towards the mid-term of President Kibaki. And now they dug a big dive now during President Uhuru's administration. And every time, the only thing government did with them is they would say they are injecting some money into it and make big newspaper bold headlines about it. When they're injecting 1 billion shillings, that would make a big newspaper headline. But the reality is that when you cascade that 1 billion shillings, it would come down to about 3,000 shillings getting to a farmer. But now that reality is not being put out there. So the reality is that national government has not put enough emphasis and effort on some of those companies. We know when national government means well. We know that how many times have we had KQ collapse, and national government would actually put in money to ensure that it actually functions. So the truth is that there has been neglect from many governments to those people. We are the only people, Jagero, look at, for instance, the sugar board just came the other day. But we have always had boards for these other crops. Yeah, look at coffee, for instance. Why do we discuss the price of tea and coffee? And every time, today we mention the price of tea and coffee as one of the development progressive things that President Ruto has done under this administration. And I ask myself, why is it that the price of tea and coffee is decided as a government agenda? Why not the price of fish? What about the price of maize? What about the price of sugarcane? How come the only price that is discussed as a national government agenda is tea and coffee? And those are sensible questions. We have a tea board. We have a coffee board. These boards have existed. We have not had all these, the fishing, I think fishing and something came the other day, and it's not even a board. So this is the marginalization that we are actually talking about. So it's true that our areas, especially the Western region, we have faced a lot of marginalization. We have some places, and Caleb Amis is on record to having said this many times, that his entire constituency has no road. Yeah, his entire constituency has no road. And I saw even during the Linda Mwananchi tour, I saw there was a display of a lot of dust. These things just speak to the marginalization that has been there, out there. So whereas we make it a laughable matter, but when we get deep into it, we realize that, wait a minute, why are all these roads like this? Because some areas of this country have roads that have two cars passing per week. And even people are drying their maize on those roads. Yet in some other areas, there's actually, you travel on Maram for 60, 70 kilometers. So this is the reality that marginalization has actually done to these people. And it speaks down even to the hospitals. How many level 5 hospitals are in the entire Nyanza region? How many level 5 hospitals are in the entire Western region? And that's why the life expectancy is not the same across. A child born in Kiambu is more likely to survive than a child born in Siaya. So this is the reality of marginalization. And remember also, Jagero, marginalization means that you start from way back. You start from far. So yes, devolution starts in 2010. All of us start devolution. Counties start receiving money. But the question should be, one county starts building from where, and another one starts from where? Because some counties start with putting tiles in classrooms. Others start with having the classrooms first. Others start with having the land to build the classroom first. So when you judge them on the same pedestal 10 years later, you are judging them wrongly. When you say these ones have this and these ones don't have that, you might be right depending on how you are looking at it, but when you look at the journey traveled, the journey is different. They are not, the journey is not the same. The person who inherits Nairobi County finds how many level 5 hospitals. So what is the development needed in Nairobi?
Yeah.
Vis-a-vis what is the development needed in Bungoma? Vis-a-vis what's the development needed in Busia? Some of these counties have no hospital in the first place. So they first of all need to have one. Before we talk about levels,
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, before we go to the levels, some of them need the hospital first. So this is the reality of that marginalization. So we can never run away from the fact and the reality that we are a very marginalized people. I argue in a pedestrian manner sometimes that even the cost of education for us is higher. Until the universities started coming and we could have Masinde Muliro University, all universities were in one region. And therefore, before we start with the school fees, a child born in Bungoma has to first of all have 2,000 shillings to arrive in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Before they even do anything else. And yet when they come to Kenyatta University, a child who is born somewhere in Kiambu County at a place called KM, which is just behind Kenyatta University, will walk to the university and walk back home. A child born in Bungoma first needs 2,000 shillings to arrive in Nairobi, and then he needs rent to live in Nairobi before that child can even access the education. And in the time of a crisis, like happens with many universities, people have gone on strike, there's stuff like that. When people start running, one child can run home. Another one cannot run home. Another one, for him to rescue himself even home, he has to, it's again a whole cost. So this marginalization is real, and when we say it that way, it's not because we want to attract sympathy. It's because we want the country to understand that we don't operate at the same pedestal, so that we start over well, all of us. Can the country carry everybody together? It is not for the sake of seeking sympathy, and it's also not to criminalize the ones who have. Because you can't criminalize people because they have a road. You can't criminalize them because they have a good hospital. But we're just saying, guys, be aware that you have a good hospital and we have none. And don't also hate us for not having a good hospital. We are starting from
way back.
We are starting from two different points of origin.